header tank's full of water. What I'm actually starting to think is maybe I've got an airlock in there somewhere. Yeah! Jesus Christ, that's hot!
Oh. I transport anything and everything. Oversized loads, machinery, trucks, planes, helicopters. I cover the whole field.
The long-haul specialist has clocked up more than 30 years behind the wheel.
I've spent too long building my reputation and my business to ever miss a deadline or to ever miss a delivery.
For 6 long weeks, he's been at home recuperating.
It has been a while since I've been out on a good trip now, since I've been in hospital.
And with his wheels not turning, money's getting tight.
Well, they were up on paying anyway.
Yeah, you weren't going to unload unless they paid.
The run to Darwin will bring in vital business, but it won't come cheap.
You know, at $4,500 in fuel to get up there, and then $4,500 to come home, so there's $9,000 in fuel in a round trip in a week.
Turbo's a one-man, one-truck firm. Making money means keeping moving. With 4,000 kilometres ahead, one piece of bad luck could mean disaster for Turbo and his business.
If we get a delay that's going to hold us up 12, 14 hours, mate, we're absolutely...
Oh, me back. That hurts.
After weeks off the road, it's a vital run for his business. He's got more kilometres ahead of him in one night than he's driven in weeks, hauling 2 trailers of machinery to a client in Darwin.
It's going to be a long night.
Standing in his way is the 664-metre high Toowoomba Range.
As of now, we're actually on the bottom of the range.
Turbo's truck can pull up to 140 tonnes, but with just 34 on board, it's struggling.
We should be doing a lot better than this. That's now starting to become a little bit of a concern. It's dropped oil pressure. It's actually putting temperature right up over where I want it to be.
High temperature and low oil pressure could do serious damage to Turbo's engine.
End up bloody damaging camshafts, can end up, God knows what damage you're going to do inside.
On such a crucial job, that's damage he can't afford.
I have a breakdown going up here, mate. It'll shut half the range down, mate, and just get a bloody tow truck and pull it up, and I don't want to do that. You don't want to have a breakdown going up here. We're over the halfway point now.
Darwin is still more than 3,000 kilometres away.
Let's just pick it up now.
It's a worrying start to his run. But as night falls, engine trouble isn't Turbo's only problem.
My back is already starting to twinge and ache on me now, which is not good. I'm going to have to deal with pain and agony of driving and the throbbing and the numbness going through the leg.
If he's to make his delivery in time, Turbo needs to push on. He's heading into one of the most remote sections of his run, a 300-kilometre stretch of near-empty Outback Highway. Turbo's alone in the dead of night. It's not a place you want to break down. But up ahead, there's a worrying sight.
Let's drop something. Pull up, find out, if everyone's all right or what's going on, see if you can be assistance. There's no driver around.
The truck looks abandoned, 100 kilometres from the nearest town.
That's not bloody good at all.
Apart from what I can see, he's bloody sheared an axle. 50-tonne of bloody machine. Could have come along, found him laying on his side somewhere. Might just go for a quick wander, see if he's up there, see if there's something we can do.
It's time Turbo can't spare, but out here, truckers rely on each other.
You break down and you are totally isolated. You don't have a mobile phone that you can pick up and go, I need help. Nothing like a nice walk in the middle of the night down in the middle of nowhere. Who knows what the driver is, eh? He's just got to live somewhere, who knows?
There's nothing more Turbo can do. He needs to get back on the road.
Hope he's all right. Hope he is all right. He got somewhere, so hopefully he should have help coming out soon. All right. Well, might as well keep going myself.
I have never ever missed a delivery, ever. And I'm not about to start to.
He's racing to complete a job for a new client, deliver on time, and he could score regular work to help get his business back on track. But it's just not Turbo's day.
Who the hell puts traffic lights in the middle of football?
Roadworks, the thing Turbo loves to hate.
After being so far behind last night, now I'm going to get held up here. Is it my turn yet? Thank you. Classic work. They all stand around and just talk. Not actually working, they're just standing there talking. Honestly, I reckon they got their brains out of the cornflake box. Stop, start, stop, start. And stop. Again. Come on. This is delays that I don't want. Oh, hallelujah. 4 lots of roadworks in a matter of bloody 10 kilometres. That's usually when I get a little bit peeved off. Delay after delay.
After an hour and a half of crawling between stop signs,
I'm that far behind time, it's not funny now.
every delay puts Turbo further behind his vital deadline.
Where's the end of all this bloody roadworks?
Turbo still has 3,000 kilometres to go on his vital cross-country run. He must be in Darwin in 4 days. To make it in time, he needs to pull out all the stops. But from nowhere,
Something's not right. Something's not right at all.
Turbo's engine trouble is back.
Engine temperature's actually running up pretty high. The oil pressure's actually dropped down below 300.
It's the same problem he's had before, but a whole lot worse.
If it completely drops oil pressure, it's game over. Yeah, I'm bloody worried because it drops oil pressure. It means there's no oil actually injecting to lubricate the pistons, which then will actually seize the engine. So there's about $45,000 to get a new engine done.
Turbo's already under massive financial pressure. A blown engine could break his business.
Have to get up here and pull up and have a look at it. That's not good. Oil coming out of the filter.
The engine's losing oil. This won't be an easy fix.
You've got to drain all the oil out of it, you've got to pull the sump off it, you've got to clean it all. And that's not a 5-minute job.
Turbo can't make repairs here. He'll have to risk driving to the next town, a day and a half away.
1,700 kilometres and there's nothing. There is nothing at all.
If the problem gets any worse, it could cost Turbo big time.
If I've got to make a phone call and get someone to come out, no profit. No profit at all.
He still has 4 more days of hard trucking to go, with a precious job on the line. After weeks of frustration, waiting to get back in the cab, it's the last straw.
Thanks! Jesus. I don't need these right now. Things are sent to me.
But Turbo's truck isn't the only thing playing up.
All that bouncing around last night didn't really help at all. That hurt.
After weeks off work, his business badly needs the cash from this job. He must make it to Darwin in one piece and on time. 2,500 kilometres from his destination,
I'm bloody off balance today. I don't know why.
Turbo's ready to hit the road. What he needs is a good run into Darwin,
What's going on?
but his truck has other plans.
It's not good. We've got a little problem. She's completely blowing the bloody fuse in the circuit, so I've got to get into the fuse box.
Fixing an electrical problem means yet more delays.
Why has this happened to me? Just when I thought the day was going to be a good day.
He's already behind schedule.
Not this today.
Taking his cab to pieces is the last thing Turbo needs. Luckily, it's just a blown fuse. A $2 replacement should do the job. Only problem, finding one.
The amount of bloody crap I carry in here, right?
With no replacement to hand, the fix is textbook Turbo,
One hot wire.
stripping down a piece of wire.
We have power.
Turbo needs to make up lost time. But as darkness falls, something in his wing mirror catches his attention.
Have a look in the mirror.
There's sparks flying from the back of the truck.
Whatever it is, it ain't good.
Turbo needs to pull over as fast as possible. Where there's sparks, there could be fire. At the rear of Turbo's 40-metre road train lies the culprit.
Chains.
A chain that's supposed to be holding a 28-tonne excavator.
Completely come undone.
If he hadn't caught the problem in time, the load could have become dangerously unstable.
Just goes to show how rough these roads are. That train was super bloody tight, and now here it is, sending sparks everywhere. It's one of them things you don't bloody see until after it happens.
Next morning, Turbo's on the road early. He wants to check in with wife Jo in Brisbane.
Yeah. No, well, that's... I've got an overheat engine shut down.
Turbo's engine troubles are back. He's 200 kilometres from the nearest town, in the midst of the outback.
All I'm gonna bloody need.
It's a dangerous place to have a problem.
I don't know. So I bloody open that bonnet and I have a look at it.
If the trouble is serious, Turbo's trip could be over right here. Under the hood, there's no sign of a problem. Turbo thinks an air pocket in the truck's cooling system might be the culprit.
The header tank's full of water. What I'm actually starting to think is maybe I've got an airlock in there somewhere.
He hopes that opening a release valve on the red-hot engine will clear the blockage.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that's hot.
Oh,
Scalding water has hit Turbo in the eye.
Can you imagine getting your kettle and sticking your hand in it and just flicking it over your face? That's what it's like. Right on the point of the actual eyeball itself.
If getting burnt wasn't enough, the engine problem is still a mystery.
I don't know why it overheated. I've got no water leaks. I've got plenty of coolant. I have no idea.
But with every minute lost, Turbo's falling further behind time. If he's to make Darwin on schedule, he must get back on the road. One more problem, and it could be game over for his engine and his business. Turbo's pushing hard into the night. It's a dangerous time to be on the road.
Let's watch these roos here, mate.
Out here, night time is feeding time, especially for kangaroos.
They are a menace. They do a lot of damage. That's why we do run big solid bull bars
At up to 90 kilos, an adult Roo can punch a serious hole in even the toughest truck. Turbo must stay focused on the road ahead. There's no knowing where or when trouble will strike.
Bruise. Straight under the trailer. Done some damage, I can tell you that now. I'm lucky. Broken mud flap. $30 to fix.
But the Roo's done more damage than just the mud flap.
Rip the slack adjuster out. Can pull the brakes apart. Oh! That's how much damage these Roos do, eh? Oh, that brake is not going to work now.
Turbo's lost one of his brakes. Replacement parts are 400 kilometres away.
All I can do is just laugh. That's all I can do. Because if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry.
Turbo's concern now is if the damaged booster breaks off altogether.
If that brake booster actually completely breaks off all the way and starts dragging on the ground, I'm going to have a sudden loss of air, which is then going to lock up the trailer and the truck because I've got no air to keep the brakes released.
He must nurse his wounded truck into Darwin. What he doesn't need now is to slam on his brakes in a hurry.
Oh, come on! Cattle! After locking the thing to a dead stop.
The truck survived the near miss. After a colossal 3,500 kilometres, the end is in sight.
Almost there. 80 clicks south of Darwin.
Turbo can check in with his client and bring the load home.
Yeah, just let him know Turbo, P&J Transport, the excavators. You probably see me coming around the corner now.
Yeah, I do.
All right, mate, I start setting this, getting it ready. The customer is the one who puts the bread and butter on your table every night. My customers will always come first.
For this one-man trucking empire,
I don't want to climb up there, not with my back.
it's a painful step towards global domination.
I want to become one of the biggest companies in the country. I'd like to be a global player. And I would like to be able to supply a transport service through road, air and sea.
Sydney, the Emerald City, a stylish, sophisticated metropolis. As home to some of Australia's greatest icons, it's a magnet for visitors from all over the world, including Brisbane trucker Turbo.
Should be a hell of a job to wash it. Need a shitload of truck wash too. I've been hanging out for this moment. I'm itching. I want to go. I'm going to get me bloody truck.
Turbo's just laid out $90,000 on a new prime mover. He's here to put it through its paces for the very first time. He'll be picking up a 22-ton loader, followed by an 8-ton container. It's an arduous test for his new truck. But on this run, Turbo's whole livelihood is on the line.
I want to have me Milo.
For the last 12 weeks, he's been housebound after so much time at home. Even wife Jo will be glad to see him back on the road.
Oh, you pig. Oh, do you have to? Is anyone so messy?
Turbo's under massive pressure.
It's been pretty tough. Pretty tough.
He's had to dig deep into the red to get his hands on a new truck. Today's the first time he's seen it.
Hell yeah, that's what I like.
The new rig may fit the bill, but after 3 months of hell,
I just can't wait to get cracking.
Turbo faces 3,000 kilometres, knowing he's one bad break from disaster.
I'm nervous. Roads are rough, narrow, could hit livestock, wild animals. Anything can happen.
Turbo's made it home to Brisbane,
I've been left high and dry
but out of nowhere, more bad news.
because I've just had trailers stolen. Trailer's worth probably about 40 grand, being a road train lead trailer. So that's 40 grand.
He's forced to hire a replacement trailer,
Yeah, I need a drop deck with rams for hire.
costing more precious cash.
Leasing a couple of trailers, flat top and drop deck with ramps. I desperately need one at the moment.
If Turbo can't find one fast, the damage could be terminal.
Basically, the whole business is riding on these two trailers. If I can't pick those trailers up today, not do I only just lose that, but I lose every other job too.
His hopes rest on a phone call to a hire company.
Do you have a trailer there now?
It's good news. There's a trailer in stock. But at the hire company, there's a problem.
Now we will get payment for you in advance
Yeah, for the first week.
for the first month.
For the first month?
Yeah, so that'll be 4 weeks.
It's company policy to charge new customers 4 weeks' payment in advance. Cash Turbo doesn't have.
So they still want 4 weeks up?
Yeah, 4 weeks up.
Mate, for that, I can't do it. I can't do it for that. No. Nah, just forget about it. Just forget about the whole contract, man.
By now, Turbo should have been on the road,
This is really me over.
but instead, his whole business hangs by a thread.
I've got to get my hands on a drop deck trailer today, and I got no idea who or where.
Turbo struck a deal to save his crucial run.
All right, I've got good news, bad news.
He's got his trailer, but it comes with a catch.
I've set up with the ring feeder.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the drop deck in stock doesn't have ramps on it.
It doesn't have ramps.
Without ramps, getting his freight, a 22-ton loader, onto his truck will be a challenge. But with his livelihood at stake, it's this or nothing. After all the headaches, Turbo needs to load up and get moving. First, he'll have to get the massive machine onto his trailer without ramps by driving it off the back of another truck. It's a risky maneuver.
Come towards me.
One mistake and Turbo will be delivering 22 tons of scrap.
Keep coming towards me a bit. Keep coming back.
Finally, Turbo can hit the road. His first drop-off is 800 kilometres away. For an interstate trucker, that's a short hop, but for Turbo, it's a long haul.
9 weeks being out of the seat. Yeah, she'll be a big run the first leg.
With his livelihood on the line, even the smallest delay could cost Turbo dearly.
If I'm not there by 6 a.m, my customer gets docked for the machine being late, and then they pass that on to me, maybe $1,000. I cannot afford to lose that sort of money. I've got to be there. I've got to have the job done.
What Turbo doesn't need right now is this.
Middle of the afternoon, there's a friggin' traffic jam, peak hour traffic, brain dead drivers, cutting people off. Well, this guy tailgating. Friggin' idiot.
With just 10 hours to cover 800 kilometres, even a minor delay could be terminal for Turbo.
Everything is riding on this. My family, my house, my name, everything.
Finally, with the city behind him, the Outback Highway should be a chance for Turbo to make up time. But instead, he faces his nemesis, caravans.
I'd love to meet the man who invented these. Seems self-shooting. Don't know why, but soon as they back up and they put a caravan on, their brain all out their ass.
As night falls, Turbo's pushing hard. But after months off the road, his first day back in the cab is taking its toll.
After 9 weeks, I've become too accustomed to going to bed every night.
On lonely highways in the pitch black, fatigue can be fatal. Deadline or no deadline, Turbo needs to take a break. With 300 kilometres to go, his fate hangs on a phone call to his client.
I'm waiting on a call back from site, so hopefully I can push the delivery time back.
If they're not happy, Turbo could be hit with thousands of dollars in fines for late delivery. On one of the most important jobs of his career, it's a blow that could break him.
The way I'm feeling about the run right now is nervous as all shit.
He's still 200 kilometres away from delivering his freight. By now, it should have been off his truck.
I can't afford to be behind time.
And he's still to hear back from his client.
Yes, Mr. Cameron.
It's the call he's been waiting for.
I've just spoken to the guys on site. Well, we're not actually starting with the machine until tomorrow now. It's a big hurry up and rush and get there, and but we don't need the machine until tomorrow now.
With the pressure off, Turbo can make the drop-off with ease. But at the unload, there's a problem.
I need the trailer with ramps on it, which I couldn't get, so I've got to improvise.
Without ramps, Turbo will have to unload the $300,000 machine onto a heap of dirt. If it doesn't come off clean, it could get damaged, or worse still, tip over. The first delivery's done, but Turbo's day is far from over. Now it's on to the town of Bowen for his next job, an 8-ton container. As the sun sets, the highway's quiet, but it's rush hour for the local wildlife. One of the most dangerous times to be on outback roads.
Got you! Yep! I gotta check that.
Turbo's hit a 50-kilo adult kangaroo at over 100 kilometres an hour.
The way that's starting to feel like, I'm starting to think he's taken out a brake booster.
He's worried it's damaged his new truck.
Brand new f***ing truck and I've bent it.
On this run, Turbo's stretched his finances to breaking point.
Now my biggest concern is, what other damage have I done?
A hefty repair bill could push him
Oh, damn.
over the edge. In Darwin, Turbo's dream of building a trucking empire is fast becoming a nightmare. 6 days ago, he brought a load into town. Now he can't find one back out.
We can get more money to you on Friday.
Debts keep piling up. And things are about to get even worse.
Well, this could be trouble now.
Right, it's $1,400 since February. So what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, you turn around and you make threats against me,
I didn't make this threat.
didn't you?
You going to pay it or not?
Well, depends on your attitude.
You've got a month.
I've got a month,
You've got a month.
eh? I did a job for him, told him he covers the fuel. Now he wants me to pay him the fuel and get the job bought up for nothing.
With creditors breathing down his neck, Turbo needs to get his wheels turning. Fast.
Just got another load that I'm waiting to pick up.
He's in luck. a job delivering a mixed load to a remote community. But first, he needs permission to enter Aboriginal land.
Yes, got me permits. All good.
He has 2 days to get the job done.
Without that, it's a no-go.
To get there, he'll need to cross Arnhem Land, 100,000 square kilometres of some of the most hostile wilderness in Australia.
Doesn't get much more outback. If shit goes wrong, you're well and truly on your own.
With his strict 2-day permit, Turbo needs to get his load on. An ageing mini digger. And a brand new 4-wheel drive and boat.
Yeah, that'll do it, mate.
Loaded and with paperwork in place, Turbo should be good to go. But there's a problem.
Yeah, Gary, Turbo, mate, can you ring me ASAP about getting this trailer off?
Freight he brought to Darwin a week ago still hasn't been collected or paid for.
I know what the hell he's doing.
The clock's ticking. If he doesn't leave soon, this important payload
I'm not impressed.
may never deliver.
Now, wait. In all honesty, I'm actually half tempted just to unchain it and drive off. Or reverse up, slam the brakes on, and let the whole thing just slide straight off the back. I'm over it. My day wasted. It's the way it is in trucking. So, for once, I'm not the holder.
A whole day slips by when finally the customer turns up. At last, Turbo can get on his way to one of the most remote corners of Australia. The road ahead promises to be brutally rough. But to get paid, Turbo needs to deliver his load without a scratch.
It doesn't matter whether it's $100,000 worth of gear or if it's $5,000 worth of gear. To me, everything I freight is worth $1 million.
5 hours in, and Turbo hits the dirt.
If it can stay like this, we'll have a sweet run.
But the sweet run doesn't last long.
Trying to find a smooth spot.
The violent shuddering has got him rattled.
It's going to be this friggin' bad.
Ruin this vital load, and Turbo's business will be pushed to the edge.
I'm over that. I'd have to stop and drop these tyres. Just to get a bit of a better ride so this doesn't get damaged. The corrugations are still there. You'll never get away from them. But the ride actually becomes a little bit better.
Turbo is making up ground. But dust clouds in the morning are a trucker's warning.
Because all the dirt swells up around all the brake shoes, it will actually build up a layer between the brake shoe and the brake drum. So when you put your foot on the brakes, instead of going around the corner, you keep sailing straight ahead into a tree. One of the major things I did learn in all my years of running up here, don't use your brakes. Here we go.
After 4 hours on the dirt, Turbo wants to check how the load is holding up.
Oh, well.
Cosmetic repairs are just the start of it.
That's not good at all. Boats come off that roller.
There's still 300 kilometres of corrugations to come.
Oh, that's what's happening is the trailer's bending. That's why the boat's bouncing on the trailer.
If he can't come up with a solution, Turbo could be delivering a shipwreck.
I'm going to see what I can do.
There's not a soul for hundreds of kilometres. Turbo has to fix this alone.
That tyre's sitting on the ground, so the trailer's doing that. That's why the boat's bouncing on the trailer.
It's a delicate operation, calling for the Turbo touch.
There's nothing else I can do.
Turbo needs to make up lost time. His entry permit to Aboriginal land expires in less than a day, and he still needs to drive 300 kilometres, offload and drive out.
Would have been another hamburger. They're burning off.
With night falling, Turbo checks on his troublesome load. His running repairs have paid off, but something else is missing.
The exhaust pipes come off. Half of my exhaust fell off, so I've got to go and find it.
He's got no idea when it fell off. It could be anywhere.
Nothing like a leisurely stroll in the middle of the night. Miracle.
Finally,
Absolute miracle.
Turbo has less than 24 hours to get in and out of Nullarbor before his permit runs out. Next morning, Turbo's made it to Nullarbor. Time to unload and get paid. But at the delivery yard, the loading ramp is not what he wanted to see. Dirt ramps like this one have recently given him trouble. He hopes the two steel tracks will prevent a repeat performance. Adding to the pressure, the client is watching on.
I just get you to keep an eye on that.
Job done.
Customer's happy. He was actually expecting it to turn up in a little bit worse condition.
With a successful delivery under his belt, Turbo's taken a step towards getting back in the black.
At the end of the day, it's customer service.
And for this loan operator, the road is calling. The quest for the next customer goes on. On the streets of Perth, one-man business Turbo is reaching the end of his rope.
If people want to understand what stress is, I invite them. Come and step into my shoes for 2 weeks. That hurt. Live how I live for 2 weeks. Thanks! Don't need these right now. Do what I do. Get in there!
Turbo's been on the road for over a month now. He's desperate to see his family. but he can't scrape a load together to pay his way home.
My way of coping with it is to be a nut job.
Look, a starfish. See? Starfish. It don't look like they're coming to get me.
Turbo's finally found a customer. She's moving house.
Lid go down, lid go up. Lid go down, lid go up.
But all of her gear doesn't pile up to much. As a one-man, one-truck business, the pressure's always on
Really gentle, mate.
to take whatever job comes up. And right now, Turbo needs all the work he can scrounge.
What?
A recent back injury has kept him off the road for 6 weeks.
Every time that wheel doesn't turn, it costs a couple of $1,000. Those wheels turn, they make money.
Turbo's back's still far from 100%. But he can't afford to rest up. He's just got wind of a load up the coast in Geraldton. It's an 860-kilometre detour, but if it pays off, it could be his ticket home.
It feels good after a couple of months out, but at this stage I can't relax yet. I can't let my guard down.
But on the open road, disaster lurks around every corner.
Back it out. Sparks flying out from under this trailer. Something's going on, mate. Back it down, eh? Give us some room.
As I'm driving along, it felt like something hit the wheel. I felt a tug in the trailer. I've looked in the mirror and I've just seen sparks literally flying everywhere. Straight away, that's telling me I've got an issue. Major issue. All I need right now.
Clues to what happened lie 400 metres back up the road. A massive steel box welded onto Turbo's trailer has broken free, hitting the highway like a bomb.
That's how much impact there was.
It's smashed open, hurling its contents hundreds of metres along the road.
There's at least 10 grand's worth of gear laying here on the road and shit all over the road. That's... I need this right now. And God knows what gear I've actually lost. I am absolutely pissed off. My gut is turning. That's how I feel.
Turbo's got a big job cleaning up the damage.
So now I've got to gather it all up. Somehow I've got to drag 1.5 tons of gear back up the road.
But suddenly, he needs to act quickly. Another truck's coming.
Yeah, take care here, northbound, and just come over the ridge, eh?
And Turbo's radio isn't working.
Yeah, northbound, and just watch it, eh? Back it down, mate, back it down. We've got shit all over the road here.
If the truck collides with this mess, it could set off a far bigger accident. With Turbo's radio not working, he can't warn the driver.
Just run over me gear, it's all right, kid. Too bad if I was on the road, mate.
With no way of alerting passing trucks, Turbo needs to clear the road fast. But this is no small job.
Probably about 5 o'clock in the morning by the time I get to Geraldton and get to bed. Oh, let's just turn this into a long night. Well, that's the last.
Back at his truck, there's more work to do.
That there is the whole frame. This part here, this flat bar, should actually be pointing downwards. It hasn't been welded on there properly.
The flying toolbox has also made its mark on Turbo's trailer.
That K and a half, it's already scrubbed that tyre out.
I just gotta somehow, I gotta pry that off of there. At least get it off enough. So it's not gonna that tyre.
To make matters worse, the clean-up job is taking its toll on Turbo's sore back. But it's the impact on his bank balance that hurts the most.
At a rough estimate, there's probably 8 to 10 grand's worth of gear that was sitting in that box. I've probably recovered 5 grand of it, so 3 or 4 grand that's belongs to the wilderness now.
Making money out of this journey has just taken a U-turn into the red.
Heap of shit! Don't need this right now. Come around, go past, go past.
After the dramas with his toolbox, Turbo has finally made it to the town of Geraldton.
Reached destination.
Yeah, where? Mate, I'm picking up a side tipper and a prime mover at your place. I'm just trying to find out where you are exactly.
So it's inside the toll yard. It'll be on the front fence in the grassed area there to the right-hand side.
Now it's time to focus on putting the rest of his load together. Going on the truck, another rig, and its trailer. But it isn't as straightforward as it might seem. Somehow, Turbo must fit everything around the car and furniture he already picked up in Perth.
I can't see crap, mate. How much room have I got at the back? I've still got to be able to get my ramps up. It's all right, it's only plastic.
Now for the trailer.
That's the edge. Keep going like that. Put the dolly lock in.
But Turbo may have bitten off more than he can chew.
How close is that?
He's using every inch of his trailer, and he still hasn't got the car on.
It's not mine. Yeah, I'll get it on. And you know what that means too, don't you? That means that's a challenge.
Even minus the dolly trailer, it's going to be tight.
I'll get it on, trust me.
Centimetre perfect. Finally, Turbo can head for home, 4,700 kilometres away. His journey has just begun. At $2,000 for a top-up, it's a big drain on tight finances.
Oh, heap of
Suddenly, there's more bad news.
I just blew a clutch. That's not good.
It's yet another blow. He must get his old truck moving. The fix is textbook Turbo.
Thank you.
Force the truck into gear as he fires up the engine. Now he's in gear, he'll be able to move. But a busted clutch means a whole new driving style.
I've actually got to turn the truck off every time I want to put it in the gear now.
On top of his destroyed toolbox, Turbo's now looking at a $2,500 bill for a new clutch. Money he can't spare.
Now that's just basically eating into my profits.
All Turbo can do is hit the road and wait for his luck to turn, which may take a bit longer yet.
And how am I supposed to eat that? Yeah, I think that'll be a later thing. God, I can't even get it off my hands now.
Further down the road, Turbo's fortunes still haven't changed, but the winds have.
And just bang out of nowhere, it was just like a mini cyclone hit me.
Gale force winds have suddenly sprung up. Turbo's driving straight into them.
With this headwind, it's playing absolute havoc. It's grabbing me and it's just slamming me.
His fuel consumption is blowing out.
I would probably, at the moment, average 500 metres to a litre. I have no fuel economy.
And his tarpaulin is blowing loose.
The biggest thing that's causing the drama, inside this tipper, the whole top of it's open. So the wind's just going straight inside the bin and it's just acting like a big parachute. It's not the first time I've faced tornado-like conditions, especially sort of when we get out towards the Nullarbor there.
Turbo faces a long and winding road home. At any moment, this wind could blow him right over.
It's just playing havoc. It's grabbed me and literally slammed me straight off the road. I've got to steer the truck to the opposite side of the road to stay in a straight line. That's how violent that it can get.
Standing between Turbo and home is one of the most grueling stretches of road in Australia. The Nullarbor Plain. Joining the east and west of the country, it's 1,000 kilometres of no towns, no people, no trees, nothing. Out here, a trucker has plenty of time to think. And there's one problem that's been playing on Turbo's mind for weeks.
That's not good. Oil coming out of the filter. And some gasket, I got home and I never even had time to fix it because I had to run around and do other things. And I'm starting to stress now. I'm worried that I can blow that sump gasket completely and utterly out now, halfway across the paddock somewhere. If it does, it's going to be a lot of fun because I can't get a spare part at all.
Without a sump gasket, Turbo's truck won't be able to hold oil. If it runs dry, his engine will seize up. A replacement engine will cost $45,000. Cash Turbo can't spare.
What I'm looking for, if I've done an oil seal or something like that around the sump, you'll actually see the splashback off the oil. It's telltale signs of the oil over the trailer.
While there's no sight of oil, there is another warning sign. Heat is pouring through the cab floor.
And I can actually feel it under my foot now. She's starting to actually burn. I have got oil spray up the back. It's covered the car, it's covered this. I'm glad I had a tarp over the furniture.
Litres of precious oil have been leaking from his truck.
I literally have no oil left in the engine.
All Turbo can do is refill the engine and hope he makes it to safety.
It's just going to be enough to sort of limp into Port Augusta to do the repairs.
If his oil runs dry now, his journey and his engine will be history. In the space of just 3 days, he's wrecked his clutch, smashed his toolbox, and blown his oil sump gasket. For most truckers, it will be enough to drive them to despair. But Turbo has his own way of dealing with the pressure.
My way of coping with it is to be a nut job. No. You've just entered Turbo world.
Spend too long on this vast remote plain, and it can start playing tricks on your mind.
It's notorious for UFO sightings or sightings of something.
But down the road, Turbo spots some flashing lights, and these ones are for real.
How you doing, mate?
As always, he's ready to help a fellow trucker in need.
See if you can start it. Can we go again?
Wait. I can hear it sparking.
The truck's electrics have died.
There's no phone service or nothing now, so he can't even ring for help. So basically, I'm his only lifeline.
and the driver's at a complete loss.
Poor fella's got no idea. He's got no mechanical idea on it. Go again.
But no amount of coaxing can bring the truck back to life.
It's actually come down to a computer shutdown. But why? I don't exactly know.
All Turbo can do is call for help once he gets back into phone range and rack this up as another mystery of the Nullarbor. Turbo's finally been able to patch up his truck.
Well, my sum's all sorted out and I was able to do the mechanical repair overnight. I've got that sorted out. Now she's actually running sweet as. And at least I haven't got oil pouring out everywhere.
To celebrate, he's knocked up a feast.
So it's just a bushman stew, slice of bread, sit down and watch a sunset like that. The best office in the world.
For the last few weeks, Turbo's been desperate to get home. And there's a deeper reason why.
I ended up crook a few weeks ago and the doctors actually found a fungus growing in my blood. So it's experimental drugs that I've got to go on. If they don't work, then it's a case I go into radiation treatment and I get treated the same as leukemia. It's a emotional roller coaster up and down, and I only found out sort of a couple of weeks ago that I have actually got it. So, you know, look, it is still a very touchy subject. I haven't even told my wife about it. You know, I've just got to find the right moment to be able to talk to her about it. That's something I'm not going to sit there on a telephone and tell her. I'm going to tell her face to face. Yeah, no, it's... I've promised the wife and daughter I'd actually call in and see them tomorrow afternoon.
But as night falls, it's feeding time, and the road is thick with kangaroos.
Oh, they slow it down. I do not like hitting kangaroos because of the damage that they do. Hitting a root is like hitting a brick wall.
Turbo's no stranger to the damage they can cause.
Cruise straight under the trailer. Rip the slack adjuster out and pull the brakes apart.
Even with a heavy-duty bull bar, no truck is safe.
It's not just the front where you can hit them down the side of the truck. You can rupture a fuel tank. You still run the chance and the risk of doing damage.
Swerving a 37-metre road train out of the way isn't an option. All Turbo can do is back off. But sometimes, even that's not enough.
That's what I hate about roofs. I don't know where the hell I got him, but I got him. When you hit them, they will rip out left, right and centre.
A wheel spacer between two tyres is wrecked.
That's the damage they do.
Turbo can't go on until he's made repairs.
It actually keeps the two sets of rims and wheels separated. Because that's gone, they'll just flap around, they'll end up coming off and killing some because there's no weight on them.
Turbo's out of phone range, and the next town is over 200 kilometres away. He'll have to make an emergency fix here.
Got to jack it up. I'm going to pull all this wheel off, and then I've got to chain the axle up.
Turbo can't drive on the damaged wheels, but in order to chain up the truck's axle, he'll have to work on the flat road surface, blocking a whole lane.
I can't get off the road, I'm actually in the road.
And now, there's a truck coming.
Hopefully he's got enough brains, because if this half asleep and he doesn't see me, he'll plough straight in the back of this.
While the driver's seen Turbo, he hasn't stopped to help, and this is a two-man job. Turbo's desperate to get moving. He promised his family he'd be home in a matter of hours.
Come on!
He needs to tie off the axle with a chain and lower the jack. If the jack slips or the chain snaps, 22 tonnes of trailer could come crashing down.
Because if that goes bang, it will cut me in half.
He's chained up his axle. Now he needs to get two 55-kilo wheels onto his trailer. It's a severe test of his bad back.
That's done.
Turbo's lost precious hours.
I guess we better make like a frog and hop on our way.
Yeah.
His patience is wearing thin.
All my plans with my family today are completely and utterly gone out the window.
Next morning, the first job is to replace the broken wheel spacer. And this time, Turbo can't do it alone.
A two-man job. 200 kilos and I'm trying to lift, twist, push, pull and turn.
And I don't have another bloody 20-tonne squat jack.
He needs help.
That must be you coming over the hill now, is it, old mate? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's me.
Thank God for two-way radios.
I've actually radioed this guy who's coming through town. He's actually going to pull up and give me another bottle jack.
After helping out his fellow truckers time and again, Turbo finally gets his kindness repaid.
All right, well, thanks for that, mate. All back on the road, all good. Rang my wife. She's not too happy. Every time I promise her something, I always seem to break it. Yeah, I do feel guilty because I promised my daughter I was going to fix her bike for her today. Well, I'm still 1,200 miles away from them, and that's just another one of the promises to my daughter I've broken.
I've told them, come morning, come sunrise, I will be there for them, so when they open their eyes, they will see me there.
But finally, Turbo's reached the end of the road. On a lonely outback highway, 200 kilometres from the small town of Bowen, long-haul trucker Turbo's got trouble.
Got you! Get! Oh, shit, I gotta check that.
The 47-year-old's midway through his first run in a new truck. Hitting a 50-kilo kangaroo is drama he doesn't need.
Kangaroo went to dart off to the other side of the road at the last second. Changed his mind, straight back in and just copped him.
If his rig's taken damage, Turbo could face a repair bill he can't afford.
I'm starting to think he's taken out a brake booster.
With his livelihood at stake, he's dug deep into the red to buy a $90,000 prime mover.
What's riding on this is my family, my house, my name, everything.
He's en route to pick up a container of freight that's 12 weeks overdue.
It's a decent coin, this one. This is why it's going to be the start to kick it off again. I'm back on the horse. Now I've got to ride the horse.
But 200 kilometres from the nearest town, his run of bad luck looks set to continue.
Look, I love kangaroos, but bloody kangaroos. Now my biggest concern is, what other damage have I done? I'm actually hoping that I haven't chewed up any tyres, because I know that there was a load of smoke coming out of them. Because I tried to avoid it. The tyres have grabbed. I'm just lucky I've got no weight on it. It hasn't actually made the tyre flat from where it's locked up. Brakes are all good.
There's no major damage. But Turbo's not got off scot-free.
Bent all that, knocked all the grill out, ripped the chunk out of me step. That's all supposed to be attached, and there's a big piece missing out of it now. Not happy, but it happens.
The repair bill won't be cheap, but on these roads, wildlife is a constant threat.
Hitting kangaroos are part of life in Australia. I've just got to sort of learn to take a teaspoonful of cement and harden up.
As dusk falls, Turbo needs to stay sharp. This is the most dangerous time on outback roads.
This time of night, I'm starting to have a few little concerns that we're going to have a few more mishaps before the end of the night.
While a 50-kilo adult could damage Turbo's truck, for other drivers, it could be deadly.
The problem with hitting the road is you can actually shoot that kangaroo across into that other vehicle and cause that other vehicle to have fatal car accident.
As night falls, the roads are littered with roos.
Oh, they're slowing down.
It's a nervous time. But finally,
Damn it. Bastard. Thank God I'm here now.
Turbo's safe. By morning, he's arrived at his pickup, a container owned by a very patient customer.
3 months the container's been sitting in the paddock here. Val's got all her personal effects in it, who's the customer. She's waited 3 months for me to get here. So that's loyalty. So now I've got to bust me backside and get it through to her. This is the most important thing, the one that's going to kick me off again.
The 8-ton load will have to be craned onto Turbo's truck. It's a delicate operation.
Can we boom down?
And there's a problem. The container's badly balanced.
Yeah, but it's all down one end.
Loading won't be easy.
I'll watch ya.
If it's not done right, it could smash into Turbo's $40,000 hired trailer, damaging its precious contents. It's 130 kilos of trucker versus 8 tons of freight.
Just got to watch the crane, because at the moment we're both running blind here.
If it's not done right, the lopsided load could smash into his $40,000 hired trailer and destroy its contents.
I've got to hold this container so it don't swing around on him. I can't see trailer or nothing.
On a job that's already 3 months overdue,
Getting out of my reach.
running up a hefty damage bill would be disastrous.
Go up just a touch. Righto. Can you come back this way just a touch? Hang on, mate. All right, go down. Down. Container's on, so that's good. Good to get out of Dodge.
At last, Turbo can hit the road for the 980-kilometre trip to Normanton. But his good mood doesn't last long.
I hate this frigging coast road with a passion.
A dawdling driver's pushing Turbo's rageometer into the red.
We're in a 100k zone and we're doing 80 kilometres an hour. And it's all over the frigging road, that car too.
With his load already late, Turbo doesn't want to waste another minute. A clear road, and it's time to make his move. But suddenly, the erratic driver hits the gas.
Now it's speeding up to stay beside me.
Turbo's stranded on the wrong side of the road. To get past, he'll have to floor his truck. Just in time, he's clear. But minutes later, the same car races by and halves its speed.
Drives like an idiot and then overtakes me and a few other friggin' people.
After all his troubles, Turbo now has to deal with a dueling driver.
I swear to God, he's gonna play games. Wanna play games? Mate, I'll play games there. Idiots, eh? They wonder why they have accidents.
With the driver and 3 days of bitumen finally behind him, the next 400 kilometres is on dirt roads.
Woohoo! My country, my road, it's all mine now. Good old Outback Australia.
But Turbo's love of the open road doesn't last long. With the dirt come millions of bruising corrugations, giving Turbo's truck a hammering.
The conditions of the road have actually gotten a lot rougher. It's actually shaken apart the back of the trailer, so I'm going to pull up and fix it.
Any damage to his hired trailer could sink Turbo even further into debt.
Oh, easy fix.
Fortunately, it's just a loose tail light.
Fixed, Outback style.
As the dirt turns back to bitumen, Turbo's almost on the home straight. For the first time in 3 months, things are looking up. But suddenly, he's got company.
Local boys just pulled us up.
A police stop means another delay on a job that's 3 months overdue. But any problems now, and time will be the least of Turbo's troubles.
There's infringement notices if you exceed your period of drive time. If you go over by more than 1.5 hours, you must go to court.
Officers want to check that Turbo's been taking his required rest breaks. If he hasn't, he could be taking a long one, without his truck, and facing a large fine.
In all honesty, sometimes I don't read that stuff because there's been some things said, oh, you can do this and do this. And then you read on and it goes, oh, but you can't do this. But hang on, it said it did here.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10, 11, 12. You can't be in excess of that 12.
I know there was one I did go over, but... Or is it that one there?
It's 11.5. You're doing right. Obviously, otherwise we'd be having a chat. So that's all good.
After 3,000 kilometres of hard grind, finally he can meet his client in Normanton.
How you doing, Bear?
And not a moment too soon.
All right, so we're dropping off in here.
My oath, the missus is going to be happy tonight. Yeah, she was expecting us to be here after all this time. Been trying for a long time. It's all good.
All the trucking companies up here are going to have to start watching their backs again because I'm going to be back to give them a run for their money. And I'm staying for good.
Let's go and have a beer.
Hell yeah, sounds good to me. Where we going?